So in another video, I explained the difference between legal custody and physical custody. But in this video, I'm going to talk about how a court actually will determine physical custody of your children. And what the court looks at is the best interests of the child or the children. And the Nevada legislature has set forth statutes that give us factors that guide the court on what to look at. And some of those factors include whether or not a parent has committed domestic violence, whether or not a parent has abducted the children or child from the state of Nevada. And those two factors are big, and they're going to weigh against a parent having even joint physical custody of their child. If you've committed domestic violence or if you've abducted a child in the past, your chances of getting joint physical custody are pretty slim. Some other factors that they'll look at is, how do the parents work together? Do they co-parent? Do they talk to each other? How well do they communicate? Are they nice when they talk to each other? How well do they facilitate visitations? If someone wants to trade weekends with another parent, are they agreeable, or do they say, nope, this is what the court order says and this is what we're sticking by? So the more agreeable you are, the more you co-parent, the more willing you are to facilitate visitation, then the court likes that, and they would be more willing to grant you physical custody of your child. Some other things that they'll look at is the age of the child. Whether or not the child is of a certain age, they can make they'll have a voice. They won't have a choice, but they'll have a voice in the decision making. And there's no set age in Nevada, but the court will look at, the 12, 13, 14 years of age to assess the maturity level of the child. And if they feel that the child is of a sufficient maturity level, then they'll take into account their preference in giving custody. So those are some of the types of things that they'll look at. Financial resources don't really have a bearing, whether or not one parent makes more money or not, that doesn't really come into play. But what does come into play is stability of the child. Are you stable in your job? Do you have a stable place for the children or the child to live? And how well do you co-parent? That's really what the court takes into consideration.